All right, let's get back to the trending topics now. Tragic news today, as you know, 5 dead and 8 wounded by a shooter at the Fort Lauderdale International Airport. The attacker, 26-year-old Esteban Santiago, was taken into custody by police. We know that the left is going to use this to talk about, oh, I don't know, gun control maybe, but the shooting doesn't fit the template. He used a pistol, and he wasn't a white guy. And this shooting happened, guess what? Just like they all do, in a gun-free zone. Is this the new normal, or is there a way to stop shootings like these? What is the answer? A gun ban, or maybe banning gun-free zones? The president of Crime Prevention Research Center, Dr. John Lott, joins me right now. Dr. Lott, good to have you with us again. Thank you.
Oh, it's great to talk to you again.
Sad scenario, 5 families lost someone today, 8 families are forever altered, and these crimes just keep happening, Dr. Lott, and yet I don't hear people discussing the kinds of things like I see you write, for example, today in the Daily Caller, where you said that you pointed to the fact that this is one of 6 airports in the entire country that has a gun ban. Do you think the chances are that perhaps the shooter chose this airport for that reason exactly?
There are 6 states that ban people being able to carry a permanent concealed handgun any place on the airport. I don't know what's going on inside this individual's mind yet, but what I can say is that there are a lot of cases where people have made explicit comments about why they pick the particular targets that they do. And time after time, they pick those targets where the victims aren't able to defend themselves because they believe the longer it takes for somebody with a gun to arrive on the scene, the more people they're going to be able to kill. These people may be deranged in many important senses, but they're not stupid. And they know what they want to do. They want to get attention. They want to kill as many people or wound as many people as possible so as to get that attention, because they know the more they harm, the more media attention they'll get. And, you mentioned one fact, that this is only one of 6 states that ban permanent concealed handguns at airports. But, we see this so many other times when we have a movie theater attack, like at the Aurora Batman movie theater premiere in Colorado. You had 7 movie theaters within a 20-minute drive of the killer's apartment. Only one of those posted signs banning permanent concealed handguns. In Lafayette, Louisiana, the year before last, you had a similar type of situation, 6 movie theaters. He picks one that posts signs banning permanent concealed handguns. We look at mall shootings like in Omaha, Nebraska, or Kansas City, or in Salt Lake City. You have many malls, maybe 1 or 2 malls in each of those places have posted signs banning permanent concealed handguns. Right. And that's where the killers go. I mean, I could go on.
Let me ask you, because you make such a great point that it brings to mind something interesting to examine. When is the last time we had a mass shooting that didn't take place in a gun-free zone?
Well, you had the shooting of the police officers last year in Dallas. That's one example. But, you look since 1950, and over 98% of these mass public shootings have occurred in places where general civilians are not allowed to have guns for protection.
It really is the case that a gun-free zone has become a criminal's invitation. And I'm so glad that you pointed to the fact that there's a difference between derangement and mental incapacity. Just because you said this, just because someone is mentally deranged does not mean they don't have the intellect to figure out that a gun-free zone is essentially a safety mark for them to enter and find soft targets. Because, as you point out also aptly in all of your articles that I read religiously, police are cleanup crew, essentially. Police don't make it there to prevent the crime. Very seldom does that happen. Police come after the crime is committed. The criminals know that, and the gun-free zones provide the soft targets.
Right. Look, I mean, police have an extremely difficult job. I think they're very important, but when you're talking about mass public shootings, they have an almost impossible job. And the reason is that, I heard experts today on Fox and other places saying, well, we need to have an armed guard in the baggage area here. The problem is that you put somebody in uniform, it's equivalent to putting a neon sign over them saying, shoot me first.
Right.
They have an almost impossible job doing that. Allowing citizens with permanent concealed handguns actually makes the job of the officers safer, because these killers know that if they go and shoot the officer first, they're revealing their position and allowing others who might have permanently concealed handguns to go and respond. And it makes it riskier for them to go and reveal themselves by going after the police officer. So, but, you know, at some point, with how many times these keep on occurring time after time in these gun-free zones with the explicit statements from these killers. I mean, last year, you had an example in Detroit where a father was concerned about his son's involvement with ISIS, had contacted the FBI. The FBI put a tap on his phone. And they have recorded this chilling conversation where this young man was talking to a compatriot and explaining why he was planning to attack one of the largest churches in the Detroit area. And his reason was that it would be easy for him to go and kill lots of people before somebody's going to be able to stop him, because this one church, he had checked it out and had found that they had banned anybody from having permanent concealed handguns on church property.
Yep. So there you have it. I want to speak very briefly, because we don't have a lot of time left, about the tactical element here. This was not a so-called assault rifle, which I realize don't actually exist, and you could get into that quickly if you want to, but this was a pistol. He had to reload, I believe it was 3 times. By the time the police showed up, he was just sitting there out of ammo. So banning guns, I just don't see how that's the deductive reason of the media and the politicians.
Well, look, one of the things I go through in my book, The War on Guns, if you look at Europe, for example, many countries there, France, Germany, have extremely strict gun control laws. The European Union had the same number of mass public shootings during the Obama administration as we've had here in the United States. Yeah. Their casualty rate for mass public shootings is 50% higher than the casualty rate here.
And you know, I wish we had more time with you, Dr. Lott, but people are going to have to go get your book, absolutely. And we appreciate you being on the show. War on Guns is the name of it. Back in a moment.